I suppose the first question you have to ask yourself is, what is the definition of unjust? What's the definition of unfair? My political perspective is that ideologically I believe in a society in which every single person has an equal opportunity, no matter what their background is, to achieve their potential, to work as hard as they can to reach the levels that they want to, regardless of what their income is, regardless of what particular background they're from, whether they're from Jersey, whether they're not from Jersey. And I suppose compared to many places in the world, Jersey is certainly more just. If you're in a first world country, I think by definition you're probably going to get better chances in life than if you're born into a very, very poor country, and that's obviously something people in Jersey have to be grateful for. But when I go knocking on doors and I see people who, there are a lot of people who are let down in Jersey. There are people who very much struggle with the social security system, people who are disabled, people who have mental health issues, people who are part of an arbitrary system that sort of isn't necessarily built to take into account everybody's individual personal circumstances for it to be as best targeted to them as possible. I think a just society is one in which every single person is going to contribute a fair amount towards things that we can't provide individually, that we have to provide communally, and you do that through the government, things like healthcare, for example. And I think that the government we've had previously, its very, very first thing that it chooses to raise when it needs to bring in extra income is GST. And GST is something that affects the poorest in our society more than it does the wealthiest. As a proportion of their income, they will pay less than the poorest. And I think that the very first thing you do when you need to raise income is that you ask the people who are most capable of paying first. And I think a flat rate of tax in Jersey is no to GST, yes to more tax.